Vanakkam, Namaste, and blessings to everyone. This is the Sky Priestess. Surprise, I'm on the Gold Coast. I decided to spend the Aquarius full moon / lunar eclipse with my friend Greg George and my other friend Cynthia, both of whom live on the Gold Coast. So Greg and I are both into astrology and all things metaphysical, and we've been sitting and pondering this particular eclipse and the eclipse that will follow to a great degree of depth. Now, both of us have come to the conclusion that despite a lot of the hype that surrounds these eclipses, their effects, we feel, are actually going to be distributed across time in a much more gradual fashion. That doesn't discount the fact that these are eclipses. That doesn't discount the fact that, a full moon is involved, especially in Aquarius. But it does say that the message that is delivered is actually something that is going to take us the whole month of August and part of September to actually fully receive and fully absorb. It's going to be less so like the more explosive and immediate messages that we have been getting in the past few years.
Thank you. So, with the lunar eclipse, I think that it's actually setting us up for us to realize how unique we are in being individuals. And even though it's an opposition being opposed to the sun, it's that we see a reflection of ourself or our courage that we can draw upon, that we can stand firm, pardon me, within our own rights. And definitely, as you had mentioned about the eclipse with the retrograde planets, I think they're going to tell us to slow down.
Yeah.
Definitely.
How many planets do we have retrograde right now?
We've got 5.
That's a lot of retrogrades. Right now we've got Neptune retrograde in Pisces, Pluto retrograde in Capricorn. Who else do we have? We've got Saturn retrograde in Sagittarius, Uranus retrograde in Aries. We've also got Chiron retrograde in Pisces. That's a lot.
And Pluto.
I already mentioned Pluto.
Okay.
I just mentioned it.
Oh. Okay.
So Neptune, Pluto, Chiron, Uranus, and Saturn.
And Mercury.
Not yet.
Yeah, Mercury will be retrograde.
It will be.
Oh, yeah.
See? Mercury will be retrograde, but he's already kind of, finicking about with us right now. But with all of these planets in retrograde, what we feel, and, other astrologers may have different views, but what we feel is that this energy is going to be much more at the internal level of processing. It's not to say that world events aren't going to unfold as they will unfold, but somehow we are still drawn inwards. We are still drawn inwards to find the answers that we need to find. Mercury retrograde has not yet begun. Metrograde, I guess. But it's already in its shadow phase. It's already in its shadow period. And what that means is that the planet of thought and intellectual analysis and perception has already begun to slow its pace. So Mercury what did I call it? Metrograde? This is not a good video.
Yes, it is. Keep going.
Mercury retrograde is going to be, basically starting officially around August 12th to 13th, depending on where you are in the world. And I think we're actually going to be welcoming that. I mean, usually Mercury retrograde is a time where we kind of moan and we go, why? And how long is it going to last? And everything slowed down. But without it, I think these eclipses will be very rough. What I have done is, for a publication that's already going to be issuing its 2018 calendars, I've had to go over the aspects that we're going to see in 2018. And there's going to be a lot more action with the fixed signs. So really, what I would say these two eclipses represent for us is, as Greg said, a moment to really get clear about who we are, what is authentically us, and how we use that energy as individuals to connect to larger groups and larger people around us. Now, what I would say is that this is a time where authenticity is key.
Definitely.
Not just of emotion, but also of thought. And who we are in some sense is in a great way determined by the people and the organizations and the ideologies and the causes that we choose to identify ourselves with. Groupthink is a thing, and it tends to take over individual thought processes quite easily. because it's so much more easier to conform than it is to actually be able to say, this is who I am and this is what I feel. And yet that is what these eclipses, in comparison to what we're going to be seeing in 2018, are actually gently preparing us for. So this is all looking at it from the long-term perspective. Quite a few of you might be going, oh my God, what the hell are they talking about? It's horrible. But in perspective, this is actually the universe wearing kid gloves. At least that's the way I'd see it. You want to chime in?
No, I think you've covered all the bases. But definitely, well, with the 3 outer planets being retrograde, it's going to be on a very deep subconscious level where most of the work's going to be done.
What I also recognize, and as comparing the astrology of this full moon, of this lunar eclipse, and the coming new moon or solar eclipse in Leo, is that both of these events have embedded in them a near perfect grand sextile. So a nearly complete Star of David. And long story short, it means that both these events give us profound manifesting potential. But what that also requires us to do is to not simply go there and go, oh, okay, everything's going to happen the way I want it. No, it doesn't work that way. We are asked to go inwards to find alignment from within so that we can actually manifest an outer world or outer experience of reality that is aligned with the inner being, with the inner planes. That's one thing I noted. Another thing that I saw that I thought was very interesting is that Mercury and Vesta have got something going on together throughout this period. Vesta is the priestess. She is the one who serves. Sometimes she is the one who discards that which she serves. She kind of goes through cycles of obsession and then discard and then obsession. And then there's, of course, Mercury the thinker. And they've been kind of circling around together between 8 to 10 degrees Virgo, particularly in the first week of August. You will see Mercury, as part of its retrograde, go back to that 8-degree Virgo position on September 17th. So I would actually suggest looking at whatever decisions or whatever thoughts or whatever declarations you made in early August, revisit them in the middle part of September. I feel that the way we're actually going to navigate this lunar eclipse and the solar eclipse is in uncovering or decoding what Mercury and Vesta in Virgo are teaching us. The question is, who do we serve and how? What is our path of service? How have we come to hold space for ourselves and others in this material realm? And are the spaces we hold truly aligned with the ideals that we claim that we are a part of, the groups that we find membership and identity in? And also, do they resonate with that fiery quintessence within? In some sense, this is what that more subtle but equally powerful dynamic is going to bring to us. Mercury is also doing something very interesting as well. Like during the second eclipse, we see the actual eclipse point is at 28 degrees Leo. That is going to be quite a powerful eclipse because that's going to be trining Uranus at 28 degrees Aries. So any one of you with anything at 28 degrees Sagittarius, don't go near any vats of gasoline. You're probably going to spark the whole thing on fire. But that's going to be a very powerful time for all of us to set intentions. Really?
Yeah.
What kind of intentions would you recommend people set, especially in the second eclipse?
Well, you've also got to consider the wide trine with Saturn.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, Saturn and Lilith.
Oh God, Saturn and Lilith. Sorry, I've been dealing with a lot of Black Moon, Lilith, and Sagittarius recently.
Maybe it's just the wake-up call from this lunar eclipse is asking us to get serious.
Get serious is one thing, but also get less egotistic. Because that's the part. That's why I kind of stuck my tongue out. Where with this energy, we're going to be seeing a lot of intensity placed on, and this is the second eclipse coming up. That's going to be 22nd August, depending on where you are in the world. And with the second eclipse, we're going to be seeing this powerful Black Moon Lilith Saturn conjunction trining Mars at 20 degrees Leo. So we're really going to be asked to find parts of truth that resonate with the feminine and to act on these pathways, on these doors that we choose to walk through. But the challenge is to do so from a place of heart, not from a place of woundedness and not from a place of ego. And when we pedestalize those two things, we basically screw ourselves personally and collectively. That's going to be the challenge, I would say, later in August. But what is also interesting is that Mercury actually goes and stations direct on the eclipse point.
Yep.
And you pointed this out to me. So I'm very grateful to Greg for that. That's going to happen September 5th. So in the same way, messages from the first eclipse, they're going to be recurring. You're going to see points of connection between August 4th to August 8th. You're going to see messages come back September 17th. You're also going to be seeing messages from the second eclipse, 22nd August, come back to you around September 5th. So really, September is where
It's happening.
It's happening. The information you get now is actually going to be processed. And I would say, August is going to have its fireworks, but it's really September where you will work on these and make them manifest in your thoughts and words and actions. So, yeah, I'd say that's about it.
Yep.
Want to add anything?
No.
No.
I think you've covered all the bases.
Go on.
No, you haven't covered all the bases.
Well, like I said, it's been a joint and shared discussion. But yeah, that's about it. I would say, take the chance to cleanse the crystals. That's what Greg's been doing. I would say remember to stay centered. Know that people will try to knock you out of your center. Whether it's messages from groups, whether it's on Facebook or social media, whether it's through friends, whether it's through lovers, whether it's even through children or people who deal with children, some messages need to come to you to shake you out of a certain outmoded form of consciousness. But some messages will simply try to decenter you. So it's important for you to be selective in what you do receive at this time. We're also going to be seeing a little bit of separation of ways, I would say, as people realize what vibrations they resonate with and what they don't. What their vibe tribe is, so to speak. That's a process we're seeing now, and we're going to be seeing fleshed out over and over and over again across 2018. But yeah, I'd say that's pretty decent. Joint report, Greg, George, myself. Take care. Bye.
Bye.